If you're an American and you believe in the principles of America and you enjoy the freedoms that we have in America and the checks and balances and the processes, then it doesn't matter whether you like someone or not. You should have a principled approach to how you think about this stuff. The way it's become, because it's tribalism 101, it's human nature 101, most humans cannot critically think. Most humans are, for objective purposes, stupid, period. Okay? It's unfortunate. And I just got to say it. We all want to accept it. We're all stupid. We all make mistakes. Yes. The key is whether you learn from those mistakes, whether you are trying to continually become self-aware and grow, or do you want to further reinforce your echo chamber and stay stupid and make stupid mistakes, because you will only hurt yourself. For every decision you make to not be challenged or not have your ideas challenged so that you can feel good about what you think you know and you can cling to those ideas and beliefs, the price you will pay in some way, either now or later. Maybe you won't even realize you're paying the price. It'll just sneak up on you. Maybe you'll make a really bad financial decision. Maybe you won't make good financial decisions, which is the flip side. Same effect, but different way. Maybe you'll be ignorant in your relationship. Maybe you won't put in effort. Maybe you won't see certain things. Maybe your bias will blind you to all the feedback the environment is giving you about your job, your work, your relationship, your friends, your family, whatever. And you'll be blindsided when they leave you or you lose it. The biases that kept our ancestors safe and working together as a group in the wild are not conducive to the modern environment. They're great living as a hunter-gatherer. They're terrible in a modern environment where we have to vote and where there's like one guy versus that guy and all this bullcrap. Okay? Literal bullcrap. The modern environment is designed to monetize you, to monetize your fears, to monetize every aspect of your human nature that is mismatched to this environment. Here's an example of this. Now, I honestly wasn't paying attention to the January 6th thing because even when I was seeing it around the time, it just seemed like another like news flash in the pan, like let's cover this because everyone else is nonsense. It didn't call to me as a serious thing. It didn't call to me in any way or have any signs of mattering, of literally mattering. So I didn't pay attention. I didn't even know what happened. I didn't know why or how or who or whatever. I still to this day don't really know, though it keeps seeping into my feed from Twitter sidebars or people talking about on podcasts or whatever, where I kind of like have an idea of what happened. And the more idea I have about this thing, the more ridiculous it is. That's what it's come down to. I shouldn't even have to disclaim this, but I don't care or not care about Trump. I adamantly don't like Biden because of a lot of really dumb things he's done, what he says, and he's a puppet and whatever. So like, I have a lot of reasons why I don't like him. Trump, if I had to like put it on a scale, would tip more to the idea of better than Biden, right? Or like better than someone else. Just like people look at Trump and they say, well, Biden's got to be better than Trump. It's the same logic. It's not really good or factually or well thought out on either side. But if you look at certain variables, come to a conclusion that one might be better than the other. That doesn't mean these are like good decisions or good opinions or whatever. Like the whole system's broken. All of it's a joke. The two-party system's a joke. But at least Trump did. At least he challenged and poked the hornet's nest that is Washington, which is a big boys and girls club where everyone are insiders. Everyone's got backroom deals going. The entire system needs to be flushed out. The entire system is broken. If you remove everything and you just said Trump did that, well, I mean, which he did, which is why he was attacked so hard. And in the same thing with mainstream media, like complete and utter joke. Mainstream media is a propaganda arm, basically stenographers, as I heard somebody say, for the government. They just write what the government says, like it's a joke. They're not journalists. They don't try to find objective truth. The fact that they went after him so hard, the fact that all the incumbents in Washington went after them so hard, which are the same people that prop up the broken system we have, the money printing, the control of things, all this fear-mongering BS, wanting to continually violate the Constitution, wanting to overspend, send money to Ukraine, all this bullshit that is so obvious for any thinking person to see. Even the liberals that support these idiots that are doing it and that are blind to the real things going on, even those people, if they could remove for a second, step out of their bias, they would see how ridiculous it is. So that's my disclaimer. It doesn't matter though. What I'm about to tell you does not matter whether you like or not like somebody. As I said, if you're an American and you believe in these freedoms and these rights and these things, which you should because you bask in the glory of them, you take all the benefit from them, even if you don't appreciate them, you're getting the benefit from them. And the only way you probably will appreciate them if you don't is if you go live in China, Russia, or any other place. Go live there and then look how great it is in America. That's all pretty much I'll say. Now, I love America, the country, its rich history, and I really don't like the government, and I don't like the people that abuse that power, and it just kind of comes with territory because humans are humans. The founding ideals, that's what matter. Have a principled approach. It doesn't matter whether you like somebody or not like somebody. If you cannot objectively look at these things and be like, yes, that's wrong. That's not part of the American way. That is not part of our American system. It needs to go. It's wrong. If you justify wrong things because you think it's going to get somebody out you don't like, then you are worse off, in my opinion, than these people that you think are so bad or whatever, because you believe in violating the foundational principled rights that has made this country great and created all this prosperity and freedoms. You think it's okay to break laws and to break systems and to cheat and to lie and do all this crap. You think that's okay because you don't like somebody. You are, in that case, if that's the case, not you listening, because maybe it's not you, but if that's what you think, if that's your logic, you're a disgrace to this country and you don't belong here. You don't deserve the benefits that I know you will continually get because you sit behind a screen and whatever. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine because I know that it will eventually hurt you. It will eventually come back. And then hopefully you'll learn your lesson. That's what I hope. If you care about truth, if you care about being better, if you care about learning, growth, if you care about freedom, if you care about prosperity, if you care about every single thing that you care about in your life, whatever those things you care about are, if you care about those things, then you have to hear hard things. You have to hear uncomfortable truths. They're inconvenient. They might create all that dissonance in your brain. They might make you want to attack me or criticize me or whatever. But all you do is hurt yourself. Every negative comment that I've ever gotten, at this point, they're just fun and even a little depressing because it's just like, that sucks. There's another one. Like, are they ever going to wake up? Are they ever going to see truth? I don't know. Maybe they're too far gone. It's sad because the only person these people hurt are themselves. It does not matter to me whether you agree with me or think I'm completely wrong or whatever. I don't give a flying shit. You shouldn't either. You should not even care enough about my opinion to feel the need to leave some comment so that you can feel better that you removed that cognitive dissonance because you told me how it was. Like, when I see all these negative comments about things, especially the really shallow comments that cherry pick data, it's a really flawed narrative, it doesn't even make sense if you really think about it. People just throw that out there so they can remove the pain in their brain from the thing that you said or I said or whoever that challenged their worldview. That's all it is. That's why the internet is so bad for discussion, because nobody hears things that hurts in their brain and then goes, oh, wow, that's actually a really good point. Maybe I should think about that. Maybe I should unpack that. No, the next step is, let's respond aggressively. Let's call them a name. Let's do this. Let's ad hominem. Let's do straw man. Let's say, what about this? Like, it's sad, but that's the internet. That's why always in person and even in podcasts generally, discussion is way more civil. There's a certain decorum. There's a certain civility. There's a certain civility to it. And generally, you're going to have better discussions. Generally. Not always, because sometimes people are just like yelling at each other. A lot of debates aren't really like useful at all. It's just people parroting what they already believe and then ignoring what someone else says and then like saying, what about this? And changing the subject. It's all a lot of nonsense, unfortunately. That's why Socratic method is so powerful. It's still so hard to do. We always feel the need to tell people. We want to tell them what we think, what we know, etc. It's really hard to ask some questions and lead the witness, as the saying goes, lead the witness to the conclusion you want them to basically say themselves through questioning. It's hard to do. It's like actually pretty easy from a logical sense. We could probably, most of us figure out, but it's so hard to do in everyday conversation to just like have the patience to do that. Like it's something I really want to work on. I want to get better at not making so many statements and asking people questions and leading them to conclusions. So let's get into this thread with that huge, massive disclaimer out of the way. And if you feel upset or offended in any way, then good, because that means you have an opportunity to grow. And even if that means you don't change your mind, because again, I don't know if you need to change your mind. I have no freaking idea. But maybe you can get better at dealing with conflicting information. Maybe you can get better at dealing with dissonance that's created when somebody says something you don't like. Because if you can do that, you will function better in society. You will be a better human. You'll probably make more money. You'll probably be happier. You'll probably have better relationships. So if your gut response is to come out and attack me or anybody that does something or says something that you don't like, take it as an opportunity to analyze why that's the case. Sometimes you can leave a comment And you can disagree with somebody and you can like offer them the reason why or whatever, but just make sure you're doing it from a principled, first principles, truth-based approach rather than a dissonant, blinded, biased approach. Here's a tweet here. If there's one thing I've learned from the January 6th committee is that the FBI, DOJ, CIA, NSA, IDFC, FISA, court, Clinton campaign, mainstream media, etc., can conspire to steal an election, frame the president, claim he was a Russian agent, and impeach him twice. But if anyone else so much as questions the 2020 results, when every swing state inexplicably stopped counting votes on election night while Trump was decisively ahead, governors and secretaries of state illegally changed election laws in the days and weeks before, fake stories of pipe breaks, flooding, voting facilities in GA, DNC members counting votes after they sent Republicans to meeting members home, evidence of ballot mules illegally dumping votes in election bins, unsolicited mail-in ballots, refusing to conduct full audits, illegally updating software and voting machines the day before the election, and Joe Biden waking up with a record-shattering 81 million votes while winning the fewest number of counties in U.S. history without being able to fill a parking lot on the trail, when the incumbent garnered 12 million, more votes than he did in the previous election, and won 18 of 19 bellwether counties, then you're a traitor to America who should be locked in a cage without due process, declared domestic terrorist, prevented from ever running political office, or even suggesting that contested elections should be sent back to the states, for which there is a constitutional process to review and resolve. Also, January 6th protests, bad. BLM riots all over the U.S., outside the WH, injuring hundreds of Capitol Police and Secret Service members, good. That's my take, at least. To state the obvious, anyone who committed unprovoked violent acts on January 6th should be prosecuted, which includes government officials as well. I don't think there was violent attacks. Like, were there? I don't know. Like, maybe a cop got shot or something or died. I don't remember what it was. But here's great. Hillary Clinton pops up at the bottom of this tweet because they always do more tweets. The latest January 6th hearings show that Trump knew he lost the election. His own people told him he lost the election. He then chose to wage a criminal conspiracy to overturn the results and prevent the peaceful transfer of power for the first time in American history. These people are so fucking corrupt. It's absurd. And here's a good one I'll leave you with real quick. So this is from Exxon responding to the President Biden's letter. Biden sent a letter to oil companies saying, why are you making so much money? Okay, well, let's look at this. Now, first of all, inflation matters. So if you're making more money, but inflation is rising, you're actually making less money. So you have to deduct the amount of inflation. And at this point, I mean, if you're in industry or business, it's easily 20 to 30%. It could be as high as 50% in some instances. All right. So this is what they said. We kept investing even during the pandemic when we lost more than 20 billion and had to borrow more than 30 billion to maintain investment to increase capacity to be ready for post-pandemic demand. Then we hear longer-term government can promote investment through clear and consistent policy. Very important, because every single day the president's up there saying, we need a green future and this and that, and oil companies are this. Like, literally, these people are insane. Like, completely detached from economics in the real world. Clear and consistent policy that supports U.S. resource development, such as regular and predictable lease sales, as well as streamlined regulatory approval and support for infrastructure such as pipelines. The second Biden got in, he canceled the Keystone Pipeline. Like, just unbelievable, man. So honestly, that's all I got. Enough for today.